When did he bond out? Since it says he's, according to this, the tab says he's still in custody.
The computer says October 4th.
October 4th?
Says it was bonded out the same day that he posted. Also, $700 cash bond. Or a $10,000 cash bond.
So did he post the 700? Yep, there it is. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh.
People of the State of Michigan versus Daniel David Gehri. This is file 2023568. Mr. Gehri is here and he wishes to enter a plea. So can you raise your right hand, sir? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. George is here as your attorney. You can put your hand down now. Mr. Marvin's the prosecutor. I've received an amended information dated today's date, adding a count 2, illegal entry without owner's permission, a 90-day misdemeanor. Any objection to that being filed, Mr. George?
No, Your Honor.
What's the offer, Mr. Marvin?
Plead guilty to the new amended information count 2, which is break-in and entering illegal entry without the owner's permission. The rest, count 1 and the habituals, will be dismissed.
All right. Is that your understanding, Mr. Gehri?
Yes, sir.
You currently on probation or parole?
No, sir.
All right, then. Mr. Marvin, is there any need to set sentencing out to provide notice to the victim in the case?
Not at all. We've had contact with the victim. In this case, it's a bank, and they don't care enough to even respond. And it's been several months. We haven't heard anything, and we were told that they don't care because they didn't feel it significant.
Okay. All right, then with that, Mr. Gehri, how do you plead to the charge of breaking and entering, illegal entry without an owner's permission, a misdemeanor punishable by up to no more than 90 days and or a fine of up to $500?
I'm guilty of that, sir.
Okay. And other than what we've talked about in court today, has anyone promised anything else?
No, just what the attorney and the prosecutor talked. That's all they said. Yes, sir.
Your Honor.
Anybody threaten you to make you do this?
What's that, sir?
Has anybody threatened you to make you do this?
No, sir, no.
And are you doing it of your own free will?
Yes, sir.
And you're a bit emotional and upset. You are resolving this today, and I gave you the opportunity to just have a few minutes, and we did that. And then again, I'll tell you, if you need a few more minutes, we can. But you are satisfied and you want to proceed and get this over with, is what you told me.
Yeah, it's been almost a year, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. So do you understand that if I accept your plea, you'll not have a trial of any kind, and that you'll be giving up the rights that you would have had at trial? Those include the right to be tried by a jury, to be presumed innocent, to have the prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, to have the witnesses against you appear at trial and to question those witnesses, to have any witnesses you want for the defense to be ordered to come to court. You'd have the right to remain silent and not have that silence used against you, or to testify if you want to testify. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Also understand that any defenses or that you may have may be waived by pleading guilty rather than going to trial, and that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea would be by application for leave and not by right, as if you'd went to trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. It alleges on October 2nd, 2020, you did enter a building located at 540 South Washington Street without first obtaining permission of the agent, owner, or occupant. How do you plead to that? Or, I mean, what happened that makes you guilty of that?
I didn't get the official owner's consent, I
Okay.
made it. It was all assumption, and I guess
You were
it's-
squatting in a house that was owned by the bank. Is that correct?
No, I own my own house. The house is only 2 houses from my house.
Okay, so you went into that house and it's owned by the bank and you didn't have permission to go in.
Right, because I was just gonna help cut grass, you know.
Mhm. Okay, but you didn't have the owner's permission to go in and you got
Correct.
caught in there.
Correct. So I
Okay,
didn't have.
are council satisfied there's a factual basis?
Yes.
Yes.
Are either council aware of any of the promises, threats, or inducements?
Your Honor, I started to speak out of turn earlier. I failed to mention a misdemeanor case 20-2592, which is a trespass. That will be dismissed as part of this. I don't
Oh,
think.
thanks, Mr. Marvin. Is that right, Mr. George? That's the extent of it?
That is correct, Your Honor.
But
Okay.
other than that, everything was done.
All right, so you said there's a factual basis, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Marvin, he bonded the day he got arrested. So what would you like to say as far as sentencing?
In talking with his attorney, I do believe this was poor judgment and not as malicious as it originally seemed. This was an empty home. The bank was contacted. They don't honestly care. Some items that were left in there probably would qualify for a trash can. Some of those were removed without permission. The motive still is unclear, whether it was self-help or something else, we don't know. But I just think that we can put this behind him and move on. And I think any time served that he had is fine, and he can just get on with his life. And that's it.
All right, Mr. George?
Your Honor, I would agree with what Mr. Marvin said. I know that this is consistent with what the co-defendant pled to in this case, and it's been weighing heavily on my client. So we would simply ask for fines and costs.
All right. Clearly, it's been affecting Mr. Gehri. For a year, he's had to deal with this hanging over his head. So, Mr. Gehri, what would you like to say?
Mental health sucks, sir.
It has been a difficult time, and that's for sure over the last year. All right, I'll indicate 1 day, credit 1 day. I'll order the mandatory state cost of $50, the mandatory crime victims' rights fee of $75. I won't order any additional things. And Mr. Gehri, take care of yourself, get a handle on your mental health issues, reach out, and you have this behind you now, and it's all taken care of. Hold on 1 second, though. I want to confirm your address so we can send you the remainder of your bond back, okay?